If you're low vision and you need to use a dedicated video magnifier, but you don't want to carry around a bunch of devices. You're already carrying around your phone, you don't want to carry around a handheld video magnifier as well. And if you've always wished that those two things could be together in one device, blending the best of both devices, well, you're in luck. Today we are talking about Optaro by Eschenbach. This is a new video magnifier system built into an iPhone case. Stick around and we'll learn more about it. Hey guys, my name is Sam. This is the... Hit the microphone. Hey guys, my name is Sam. This is The Blind Life, where I help you learn how to live your best blind life. So today we are talking about Optaro, and I know that sounds like an anime character from like a Studio Ghibli production, but it's not. This is a device that was just released by Eschenbach that blends the best of both a video magnifier and your smartphone together into one unit. So Optaro is a camera system that connects to an app running on your iPhone. And that's the first thing to know about this. It is only available for iPhone. And since it fits into an iPhone case, there's only a select number of iPhones that this is compatible with. And that is actually iPhone 12 and above. But it's a dedicated camera with a light and a stand that sits in a special phone case and sits on the back of your phone. This means that you have the benefit of a high-quality video magnifier with you at all times, and you don't have to carry around a second device. So let's talk about the Optaro hardware, and then we'll jump into the app and see it in action. So here is the device and the case that it fits into. It's a bit of a challenge getting it into the case. It takes a little bit of practice and a little bit of encouragement to get into the case. Luckily, Eschenbach has a full tutorial on their website on how to install the Optaro device into the case. And there it is, guys. That was the first, but definitely will not be the last time I mispronounce the name of this device in this video. It is Optaro with an A, not Optoro with an O. I don't say it that way every time, but I do quite often, and I apologize. Definitely apologize to Eschenbach. So from here on out, whenever I say Optaro, just disregard that. It is Optaro. But once it's in, it's nice and secure, and it's a pretty snug fit. On the side of the Optaro, you have a power button. This is how you turn it on, turn it off, and wake it up. Next to that power button is an LED indicator light. Once you turn it on, it flashes blue, indicating that it's ready to be paired to the app. When the app is connected, everything is working properly, it is a solid green light. On the bottom of the Optaro is the charging port. This is a USB Type-C charger, and you do get a charging cable in the box with the device. Next to it is a charging LED indicator. Then finally, on the very bottom of it, you have a couple elements here. First, we have the stand that pops up, and this is a very sturdy stand. Then you have the camera and you have the light. On the case itself, we have a couple of things that we should point out. Firstly, at the bottom, there's a spot to insert a lanyard. So if you wanted to put a wrist strap on your case or a neck strap, you can do that. Then on the top of the case, on the left side, the right side, and the top edge, you'll feel little bumps. And at first, I thought this was a defect. I thought this was a manufacturing defect in the case, in the rubber of the case. But then I realized it was on all of the cases. What it is actually a tactile indicator of where the camera is located. And this is pretty smart. You know, if you've ever tried to use your cell phone to record something, the camera is shifted off to one side. So it can be kind of confusing. You kind of have to hold it off to the side of the object to get it all lined up. Well, one benefit of using Optaro is that the camera is centrally located. They positioned it so that the camera is in the very center of the phone. And that's a little bit more intuitive for people, especially if they're used to using a video magnifier. But also to help out, Eschenbach designed these little bumps here on the case to indicate where the camera is. So you can use these to kind of triangulate approximately where the camera is on the back of the device. And then one more thing about the cases is they are a very flexible TPU style case. All right, jumping into the Optaro app. It's a free app you can download from the App Store, but keep in mind that the app only works with the Optaro device. So you can't just download the app and use it whenever you want to. It only works by syncing up with the device. Once you launch the app, you'll get a message here asking for the app and the Optaro device to connect to each other. This is a closed Wi-Fi connection. So the nice thing about that is you don't need to be connected to Wi-Fi in general in order to use the app. You could be out in the middle of the woods and still use the Optaro device. Once you click join, it takes about 9 seconds for my device to connect to the app. And I have to imagine that's probably kind of standard. Once you're connected though, once the app launches, you'll notice that the light turns on. And you could use the app like this, kind of two-handed, out in the world, reading price tags, reading signs, all of that. But you also have the option of popping out that stand, which puts it at a much more comfortable reading angle if you're sitting at a table. Right away, you'll notice the buttons on both sides of the screen. This is our main user interface. This is what most people are going to be interacting with. One nice thing about this app is you can customize it, and I'll talk a little bit about that, but this is generally the default screen that everybody's going to be seeing. Before we get started, you might notice that some of the buttons on my screen are getting cut off, specifically the 4 on the outside edges. Now, this is just something strange happening with my phone, or maybe because it's a Pro Max with the larger screen size. I'm not sure, but I've spoken with Eschenbach about this. I've sent them screenshots and they're going to investigate, and there should be a fix for this in the next update. But I do want to make sure to clarify that even though the buttons are kind of getting cut off a little bit, they still work fine. You can still tap on them. It doesn't affect the function or the performance at all. So if I touch the screen, the buttons will disappear. Of course, I can pinch to zoom. You cannot move the screen around digitally. Even if you're zoomed in like this, you still have to kind of slide to the side to read. You have a zoom in is the upper right button. That will zoom in. Third button down on the right will zoom out. The second button down on the right is kind of a quick zoom, so it'll zoom all the way out so you can get full context of the image here. And then when you want to pop back to where you were previously, you just tap it again, zooms back in. The bottom right button is your reading line, and you can customize where this is and how large it is and all of that in the settings. Tapping that will turn it on and off. Upper left button is your settings. We'll come back to that. Second button down on the left is your color filters or your color contrasts. And if we tap that, it'll cycle through all the different ones that we have available. Most of the ones that we're all very familiar with. By default, you only have a couple enabled, but in the settings, you can go in and choose several more. Third button down is your camera button, and this will take a freeze frame, take an image. And now, just like before, I can manipulate this. Now this I can move around, and you see there's some physics built into there, so it'll just I can kind of fling it around. But super responsive. That's one of the benefits of integrating with a smartphone is performance. Now that we've taken this picture, we have some options, some new options on the screen, at least on the left side anyway. The top one is Save Image. This will save the image to your gallery. The second button down on the left is the gallery button. You can click on this to get into the gallery and view your saved images. The bottom button on the left side is Share. So you can tap that and then share this image out like you do with any other photos on your iPhone. You can send it out through email, through text messages. You could load this into another application if you want. On the right side, we have the zoom in, the zoom out, the overview button, and then the bottom button has switched to a back button. So you can tap that to go back to your main screen. Then the final button on the bottom left is unique. It's kind of a text-to-speech button. So OCR, but it's not a full OCR. It's not going to read everything. It's kind of unique in that it only reads the center section of text. For example, if you had a letter here and it had someone's phone number in the middle, you could tap this and it would just read out that phone number.
On airplane mode. With any number.
So it's designed to be just a quick way to access that important information right there in the middle. All right, let's jump into settings and take a look at that. So the first thing you'll notice is that the settings is designed to look just like your regular iPhone settings. I'm going to turn on VoiceOver real quick.
VoiceOver on. Optaro. Back button. Landscape.
One nice thing also I'll mention is that VoiceOver works great with this application. All the buttons are read out loud properly.
Settings, heading, general, heading, camera battery at 48%.
Another benefit of using this device is that it's separate. It has a separate battery, so it's not going to be draining your iPhone battery. The battery life on the Optaro device is about 2 hours, continuous use. But if you want to plug it in and use it while it's plugged in, then you can use it for much longer.
Open photo gallery, button.
Another way to get into your gallery.
User interface, heading, operating mode, button, button, simple, button, selected, advanced, dismiss context menu, simple, button.
So for operating mode, we have two options. There's a simple and an advanced, and this refers to the user interface. Right now we have advanced selected. That means that all the buttons are on the screen. If I wanted to go to simple, so now you can see we have a very simplified user interface or button layout. On the left side,
settings menu,
settings menu,
false colors, true color display, button.
This is the color contrast or the color filter button. Top right,
zoom in, button.
Zoom in,
zoom out, button.
And zoom out. And that's all we have in the simplified user interface. Just those 4 buttons. And a lot of people using this out there may prefer this. I mean, zooming in, zooming out, changing the colors, that might be all they need to do. So it's nice that you have that option.
Maximum zoom, 15 times.
Next, we have maximum zoom level. And as I mentioned at the beginning, the maximum is 15 times. But once again, it's all about customization, because if you're a user that your eyes aren't that bad, you just need a little bit of magnification, you can set this to a lower magnification number and you won't run into issues of making it too big.
Reading support settings, button.
So the reading support in this situation is the lines, the reading lines. So we can come in here and adjust these.
Move line up, button.
This is what I was talking about earlier. I said you'd be able to come into the settings and adjust the settings of the reading line.
Move line down, but change to reading bar. Rotate by 90 degrees. Line thickness, normal. Reading line color, red, button.
So all the adjustments that we normally see on these types of devices, adjusting the color, adjusting the position, adjusting the size. Here you can even set it to a vertical line, which is also very common on most of these devices.
Lighting.
So lighting in here, you can adjust how bright the LED in the back is.
Lighting 0%, button.
You can turn it off completely.
Lighting 50%,
set it to
button.
50%.
Lighting 100%,
or
button.
100%. And I think it actually changes as I...
Lighting 50%, lighting 0%, but lighting 0%.
Yeah. So choosing one of those sets that amount.
Lighting 100%, button. Lighting 100%.
Wow, that's quite an increase. That's good. So that obviously depends on your situation and your environment. If you're in a dark restaurant reading a menu, you might want to crank it up. But if you're outside on a nice bright day and you don't need any extra light, you can come in here and turn it off.
False colors.
False colors. Now this is the color contrast section.
Selected, black/white. Selected, white/black/yellow. Yellow/black.
14 color combinations that you can choose from. And most of these are turned off in here in the settings, and that means that they will not show up when I'm pushing that button, cycling through all my different color filters. But you can come in here and you can turn these on.
Black/orange, green/black, black/green, white/red.
Like for me, the yellows, the blues, not necessarily yellow and black, but these yellows and blues, the reds, the greens, they don't do anything for me at all. They don't help my vision at all. So I can have them turned off in here so I don't see them when I'm in the magnifier cycling through all the different colors.
False color, update firmware.
And then the rest of the options in here just have to do with the system. You can update the software.
Reset to factory settings.
Reset
button.
to factory.
Help. Heading.
Help.
Operation instructions. Button.
Instructions.
Further information. Heading.
More information.
About. Button.
This probably just takes you to the website.
Link to privacy policy and imprint.
Yeah,
button.
a lot of this
Terms of use. Button.
takes you probably to the website.
License information. Vertical scroll bar.
We can get an idea of how well this application renders colored images. I always talk about how you can really test the focus of one of these devices by looking at a comic book. Because if I zoom in, look at that. You can clearly see the texture in this image. And by zooming in on those, you can really test how well the device focuses. And this is looking really good. Can it read my comic here?
Troll War.
Troll War. Oh, I love these comics. And then finally, if you want to get out of the app, you just swipe out of it like a normal application. And when you do, the light turns off. And then after about 3 minutes of not being used, the Optaro device here will put itself to sleep. Your little blue LED indicator light will turn off. As I mentioned at the beginning, this is probably going to be a nice option for some people. Those of you that need a video magnifier and appreciate the features of a standalone magnifying system, but don't want to have to carry multiple devices. And clearly there's some benefits to that, definitely. But with that being said, there are some things that we should mention. Number one is this does add some bulk to your phone. I mean, there's no getting around that. You have a camera, light, battery system on the back of your phone. It's going to add some bulk. Not only does it add size, but it adds weight. The Optaro device weighs about 5 ounces.
5.2 ounces.
So that doesn't sound like much, but you do definitely feel it, especially if you already have a large phone. Like I've got the 12 Pro Max. It's already a big phone to begin with. One benefit I did find while using this and having this on my phone is it does actually make it easier to hold. There's lots of little things here for your fingers to grab onto. So it's almost like having a pop socket on the back of your phone makes it easier to hold. Something else that I found using quite a bit is the little pop-out stand, and just having my phone here off to the side. I actually took a Zoom call earlier, and it was kind of nice having my phone propped at an angle like this pointing up at me. Now, if you don't want to deal with having the Optaro device on the back of your phone all the time, well, they also offer this separate stand. It's a similar case. The Optaro sits in the back here, and then you have this MagSafe plate here that also has a little shelf that pops out, and your phone can sit on this while connected to the Optaro device. That way you can still use it as a video magnifier, but you don't have to have the device attached to your phone. And you see that even though I still have my own personal case on here, I'm able to use the Optaro device, and it works just like before. I know someone's going to ask, well, what about if you upgrade your phone in the future? The great thing about this is you buy the Optaro and your phone case, and then if you need to get a different size phone case in the future, you just buy the new phone case. And the phone case is only about $20. The Optaro is a one-time price. I believe it's around $700. And then if you need to change your phone case in the future, that's just an additional $20. Okay guys, so that was a first look at Optaro from Eschenbach. If you'd like to learn more, I will have links to the website in the video description down below. If you have any questions for me, let me know in the comments down below. I'll do my best to help out. If you liked the video, you found it helpful, be sure to subscribe to the channel, turn on notifications, and hit the like button. Share it with anybody you think might find this information helpful as well. And be sure to stay tuned for future videos just like this one posted every single Saturday. Well, that is it, guys. Sam with The Blind Life. I will see you next time.